It was supposed to be just another routine flight. On the morning of August 27, 2006, Comair Flight 5191 prepared for takeoff at Bluegrass Airport in Lexington, Kentucky. The sun had barely risen. Passengers yawned and shifted in their seats, already dreaming of their destinations, connections, vacations, reunions. The plane, a Bombardier CRJ-100, was scheduled to fly to Atlanta, the first step in countless journeys. There were 50 people aboard, 47 passengers, 2 pilots, and 1 flight attendant. None of them knew that in just a few minutes, their flight would become one of the deadliest aviation disasters in American history.
At 6:05 a.m., Flight 5191 was cleared for takeoff. But there was a crucial detail. Bluegrass Airport had 2 runways. Runway 22, long enough for a jet to safely take off. Runway 26, much shorter, intended only for small private planes. In the dim light of dawn, with construction altering the normal taxi paths and confusing signage, the pilots lined up on the wrong runway. Runway 26. It was only 3,500 feet long, nearly half the length needed for a fully loaded regional jet. The controller cleared them for takeoff, trusting they were on the correct runway. No one, not the pilots, not the controller, realized the fatal error about to unfold.
The engines roared to life. The plane thundered down the short runway. But almost immediately, something was wrong. There wasn't enough room. The jet struggled for speed, the end of the asphalt rushing toward them. At the last moment, the captain shouted, "Oh no!" Flight 5191 tried to lift off, but it was too late. The plane overran the runway, tore through the airport perimeter fence, and smashed into a field beyond. The impact ripped the aircraft apart. Fuel tanks ruptured. Flames engulfed the wreckage. In seconds, a peaceful morning had become an inferno of metal, smoke, and shattered dreams.
Of the 50 people aboard, 49 were killed almost instantly. The sole survivor was the first officer, James Polhinky, who suffered devastating injuries, physically surviving but carrying an unimaginable burden for the rest of his life. First responders arrived quickly, but there was little they could do. The crash site was a scene of heartbreak, personal belongings scattered across scorched earth, silence broken only by the crackle of fire and the cries of the living. An entire community was left mourning. Children lost parents, families lost loved ones. Dreams were extinguished in a single terrible moment.
The National Transportation Safety Board, NTSB, launched a full investigation. Their findings were chillingly simple. The pilots took off from the wrong runway. Neither cross-checked the heading. The controller, working alone in the tower that morning, was not observing the plane during takeoff. Changes to the airport layout, combined with poor signage and early morning darkness, contributed to the confusion. There was no single villain, only a tragic chain of small human errors that, together, led to catastrophe. In aviation, checklists, vigilance, and redundancy are sacred. When they fail, even for a moment, the results can be unforgiving. It was supposed to be just another routine flight.
The crash of Flight 5191 forced changes. Airports improved runway signage, controller staffing was strengthened, pilot training re-emphasized strict runway verification procedures, new systems were developed to warn pilots if they attempted to take off from the wrong runway, But for the families of those lost, no improvement could undo the pain. No reform could fill the empty seats at dinner tables. No new policy could erase the hole left in their lives. Every anniversary, they gather to remember not just how their loved ones died, but how they lived.
Flight 5191 remains a haunting reminder. In aviation, in life, details matter, habits matter, vigilance matters. And sometimes, tragedy is not the product of malice or villainy, but of ordinary people caught in ordinary moments, making mistakes whose consequences are anything but ordinary. The story of Comair Flight 5191 is not just about a crash. It's about the fragile trust we place in those who guide us, and how easily that trust can be shattered when even the smallest step is missed.